Donald Trump loves polls, always has. I remember during the 2016 campaign when he would hold polls up that showed him winning at rallies and people would cheer random pieces of paper. And that's why I think the last month has been absolutely brutal for Trump, whether or not he wants to admit it, because in poll after poll after poll, it shows him dropping pretty rapidly in two really important and connected categories. One, his overall approval, and two, his approval in terms of handling the state of the economy. All right, I want to go through, let's start with a poll that came out on Wednesday. This is Reuters Ipsos poll, national poll. The numbers in here are just brutal for Trump. So I want to talk about these specifically, and then I want to talk more broadly about where he is in job approval and polling averages, and then what it all means. Okay, Donald Trump, got on my handy dandy post-it note, in this Reuters Ipsos poll, just 37% of people approve of how he is handling the economy. That is down more than 5 points from the last Reuters Ipsos poll, which wasn't all that long ago. It is also, and this is really, really important, well below where Trump's approval was on handling the economy during his first term, when that approval number was regularly in the mid-40s and sometimes got all the way up to the mid-50s. So even though Trump started his first term less popular overall than he started this second term, his numbers on handling the economy were much stronger for the entire 4 years of his presidency than they are today. 37% approve his handling of the economy, even though we are only 3 months in. I got a couple other numbers from that Reuters Ipsos poll that if I was Trump, these would worry me. 3/4 of people said that they are worried a recession is coming. 3/4 of people. 56% of people said Trump's moves on the economy are, quote, too erratic. And that includes 1 in 4 Republicans. So 25% of Republicans, who basically say they agree with Donald Trump on everything, 1 in 4 Republicans say what Trump is doing on the economy is too erratic. That's the poll's words, not my words. All right, before I get into the broader approval and what it means, I want to make a pitch to you. I want you to become a subscriber to this YouTube channel, which is easy. You just hit the subscribe button, and here's why you should do it. I am someone who spent more than 2 decades in legacy media. Most recently worked at CNN, before that a decade at the Washington Post. I am now out on my own as an independent news analyst. I am reporting and analyzing the news without fear or favor. So I mean independent in 2 ways. Independent in that I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, and I'm calling balls and strikes no matter what uniform the batter at the plate is wearing. Independent also in that it's just me. No corporate backers, no billionaire owner, no massive media company telling me what I can and can't say. Just me bringing the news and analysis you need to know to you every single day. I hope you can subscribe. I hope you can get behind it. All right, now, so we've established this Reuters Ipsos poll, and it's far from the only one. It's just the most recent one, so I thought I'd note it. The most recent polling on Trump all suggests that people are really souring, and souring pretty quickly, on his handling of the economy, which was the biggest strong suit he had in his first term, even though he was not particularly popular. Okay, so let's widen out and talk about Trump's overall approval, not just his approval on the economy. It is, in the 2 measures I like to look at, the lowest it has been since he has been in office. So, in the strength in numbers polling average, which is G. Elliott Morris used to work at 538, now has his own Substack called Strength in Numbers. His approval rating is now on average 44.5%. His disapproval rating is 51.6%. So that's a -7 in that one. Nate Silver, again, formerly of 538, now on his own, writing on Substack, Silver Bulletin. He has Trump slightly better. 45.6 approval, 50.7 disapproval. Again, though, that's, a -5 in terms of Trump approval versus disapproval. What's interesting about these numbers is that they look a lot like what Trump's numbers were in 2017 around this time. So yes, he did start at a higher watermark in terms of approval in 2025 than he did in 2017. He was actually over 50% briefly in 2025. He was never over 50% approval in 2017. But Trump's numbers have dropped more rapidly in terms of approval in 2025 than they did in 2017. And now those two lines look very, very similar. He is basically in the exact same place in terms of approval rating that he was in 2017. And that's not a particularly good place when you are underwater, meaning your disapproval is higher than your approval. All right, so what does it all mean? Well, look, the best thing I can say for Donald Trump and Republicans right now is it's April of 2025. There isn't an election until November of 2026. That is a good thing because it gives him and the party some time to recover. I will also say, and this is, I guess, a good thing, we are still pretty polarized, which means that Donald Trump's numbers his approval numbers are never going to be 60%. They're probably never going to be 35%. He has a low ceiling and a high floor. Which means, 40, 41, 42 is probably as low as he'll go in terms of job approval. Maybe he'll go a little lower than that. But unless the bottom falls out and Republicans abandon him, he's never going to go into the 30s or the 20s like we saw with George W. Bush in 2006, 2007. Those are the two positive-ish things I can say. Everything else is negative, which is, look, it is very clear in the numbers that the way that Donald Trump has approached the economy, and that is specifically on tariffs and trade at this point, has not been well received by the public. Now, we know it's not been well received by the stock market. Stock market is headed to a historic 3-month losses over a president's first 3 months in office. So we know that hasn't happened. We know it's added instability for companies, but it is also trickled down to the broader public, which just does not like what he's doing. It is driving recession fears. It's too erratic. It's too unpredictable. It's creating chaos. Those feelings have direct impact on Trump's overall job approval. So how he is handling the economy is an anchor dragging him down. The thing that is keeping it from going even lower, candidly, his numbers on immigration are still pretty good. He was elected to be much more hardline on immigration. He has been, and that has helped his numbers overall. But the economy and tariffs and the stock market and the uncertainty is absolutely dragging him down. It is pulling him, and I'll note, the Republican Party down. And the Republican Party piece is important because Donald Trump can't run again, we think, right? So in 2028, he leaves. So what his numbers are, they matter to him. They matter sort of with his legacy. They matter in terms of what he can get done in these 4 years. But they're not going to matter in terms of whether he can win another term. But where they will matter is, yes, the election's a little ways away, but the midterm election is in November 2026. That is when, if Trump's numbers on the economy and overall are not better, significantly better, mid to upper 40s at worst, I think the Republican Party is going to put the Republican Party in a really bad spot. If the election were held today, Democrats would absolutely win back the House with these numbers, and they might pick up a Senate seat or two as well. Again, the election isn't held today. So we'll see if Trump can improve those numbers. But there is a reason that he is walking away from this tariff trade war with China. There is a reason why he is walking back his bluster about firing Jerome Powell. There's a reason why he paused his reciprocal tariffs, because he sees the same poll numbers I am seeing. And those poll numbers suggest people do not like what he is doing with the economy. They do not like what he's doing with tariffs. It is hurting him on that. It is hurting him overall, and it is pulling the whole Republican Party down. All right, everyone. What can you do? You can subscribe, as I said earlier. If you've made it this far in the video, you are going to like the stuff I produce on a daily basis. I'm making videos every single day. I do a live stream every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you subscribe so that you get updated on that. 2 other things. You can like and you can comment on this video. Liking is easy. Just thumbs it up. It helps me get my stuff out to more people because of the YouTube algorithm, people who don't already subscribe. So if you think independent news matters, if you think someone calling balls and strikes, no matter who, what uniform the batter at the plate is wearing matters, I want you to like and comment. Last thing you can do, just tell someone who you know, someone who maybe you ran into at the grocery store, hey, this guy, you and I both like politics. This guy's talking about it in a reasonable, authentic, genuine, independent way. You should check him out. That would really be wonderful, and I very much appreciate it. Thanks and take care.